Hey good people, welcome back to my channel The Nature and the Wild. So we all are into the profession of wildlife photography and we all know how important to have the right lens for the job. So today I have a very hot topic and it has been discussed so many times on different forums. But I want to discuss what my take on it. I have two lenses, Canon RF 100 500 and Canon RF 200 by 800. I got a couple of questions how they perform in the different scenarios and which lens should we use as a beginner photographer, or is it any good to get RF 200 800 if we have 100 400 or 100 500 lenses. Let's dive into it. First, let's break down what each lens brings to the table. In one hand, we have RF 100 by 500 which is part of Canon premium lens and RF lineup. It is very lightweight, versatile, and it's a ready to go lens with any of your setups, whether you have a Canon R7, Canon R5 Mark II, R6 or Canon R5. So this is a very much to go lens with the camera bodies. Another hand, if you connect a 1.4x teleconverter on that 100 500, it will give you a maximum of 700 reach. So that's something you can think of. But on the other hand, we have RF 200 by 800. So this lens is quite huge, big, and this is basically has designed to get the maximum reach or to reach your birds, and it is also designed for the affordability. It offers a 800 range with any kind of camera body you are having, but the only drawback is that it has a narrow aperture which starts from f6.3 to f9. We really need to think about a couple of stuff here before we get into the discussion which lens is better or bad or good. First thing, we need to think about the focal range of the lenses, the image quality, the portability, and also the autofocus performance. So guys, on RF 100 500 if we use, normally I use that, and I also have a 1.4x extender with that, but when we connect that extender to the RF 100 500, eventually it becomes the 700 lens and it gives you an aperture of f10, and that is really good. I tried it many times, but if the light conditions are good, then it's absolutely not a problem. But also at 100 and 500 focal range, f7.1. So f7.1 is still a high aperture, so that means we are still struggling with the low light situations. But we are not talking about today the low light situations, we are talking about the lenses. This lens is very nice, RF 100 500, lightweight, portable, and goes any kind of R systems cameras from Canon, and it takes stunning images. Another hand, RF 200 800 has a maximum aperture of f9. So f9, some of the conditions it's really not very useful if it's a very dark, but again at 200 by 800 range you can cover a lot of distance, so especially for the bird photographers this is a very great lens. Outdoor walk-ups, and in the forest the birds are quite far, so 100 500 has a very limited reach to those birds, and the images are, if you crop them, they are not really not really sharp or not really big, so they lose the details. And in that scenarios, when you use the 200 by 800, and if the lighting conditions are a little bit great, you can still take very interesting images, and those images are really sharp and detailed. So in a short, we will go and compare all the images side by side, and then we can see what this lens performs. Second thing is that at 200 800 this lens is quite bulky. It's a bit heavy, heavier than 100 and 500, of course, and there will be a lot of issues if you cannot carry a lot of weight, or if you're handheld picturing and you're taking the moving subjects, dynamic subjects, it will be a it takes a lot of practice to do that. But in other case, 100 500 is easy, very easy to capture the flying objects or dynamic subjects. Let's talk about the image quality. So if you look these images side by side, the image taken from the RF 100 by 500 has quite a nice detailed, quite bright, and these images are quite sharp. But you have to keep in mind that RF 200 by 800 is also introduced because of the longer reach. So that's why you have an 800 lens. But the images are comparatively quite nice. You can still keep those images. They are still great sharp images. It's all depend on the different situation where you are taking the pictures. So for me, whenever I use the 200 800 I got nice stunning pictures, but mostly in the broad daylight conditions, not cloudy. And I use normally 100 500 as my go-to lenses when I'm walking and suddenly I see a bird or the deers are moving in the forest, so I can just capture them. So in both the scenarios, the image qualities are really good. And again, the video quality, both the lens captures stunning 4K images. I use my Canon R7 and I use the 4K fine mode in that. And when I use this, if you have a look at these videos later, this video has a very nice and sharp images. The videos are sharp, 4K fine mode, really smooth. And also smooth. And also 200 800, these images are also smooth, and they're really great. So guys, let's talk about the next section, autofocus performance, which is very important for the wildlife photography. In RF 100 500 has a USM lens, and that lens is basically very fast in the autofocus, also at the aperture of 7.1. If you also connect your 1.4x extender to the 100 500, it is still usable for any kind of dynamic subject or still subjects or flying bird or flying objects. But on the other hand, for RF 200 800, its autofocus speed is not as fast as RF 100 500. And in that scenario, it is still good for the still images, and dynamic subjects are little bit difficult and bit slower to capture. Okay, but still, the best part is that the reachability of this lens, RF 200 by 800. I love this lens just because I can reach the subject, my animals, the birds, more closer. I don't need to go or disturb them to get too close to them and they fly off. So this is the best point. If you're looking a lens which can give you kind of luxury, that you can capture more realistic bird photos or the animal photos, always use the RF 200 by 800. Look at these video samples taken by RF 100 500 and RF 200 800. Both the images look so solid, smooth, nice transitions. I make a lot of videos for my social medias, so I use these lenses a lot to make the reels, and I never disappointed. But again, there is the question, which lens should we use? It's absolutely depending on your style. If you are looking for crystal sharp images, detailed images, always go for RF 100 500 mm because it's really versatile and top notch and very affordable and portable lens for you. But if you're looking for a distance, capturing the distance object, and you don't mind a little bit bulkiness, go with the RF 200 by 800. So I think as a wildlife photographer, both the lenses should be in my backpack when I go for my next tour. So I can capture each and every object and images as much as possible. Price is also a factor. So RF 200 by RF 800 is quite a little bit cheaper than 100 500. But again, for the price, this lens is very best, and I can completely recommend both of the lenses for any kind of R camera systems from Canon. Thanks guys. Hopefully I have given some nice reviews, some good answers for you, which I felt during my last 1 or 2 years of wildlife photography and from my personal experience. So I hope it will help you to decide which lens you should buy, and put your questions in the comment box. I will definitely get back to you, and please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks a lot for staying with me. Bye bye.